F1H2O World Championship returned to Evian a fourth consecutive year for the 22nd Grand Prix of France, round 3 of the 2018 season. The world-famous spa and holiday destination Evian-les-Bains attracts visitors from all over the world, having been a regular hotspot for jet-set socialites and royalty through the centuries. Evian was one of the world's premier destinations during the Belle Epoque and the Roaring Twenties, and it continues to be a major attraction with its incredible architecture, the all-wood La Grange au Lac Concert Hall, the Clock Tower, and some of the finest restaurants and cuisine at the foot of the Alps. But Evian's greatest treasure is water. Evian is located at the foot of the mighty snow-capped Alps, where the town and its environs receive the pristine, crystal-clear waters that cascade from the surrounding mountains year-round, creating Europe's largest alpine lake, Lac Léman, aka Lake Geneva. There couldn't be a more perfect setting for the world's premier marine motorsport racing series, as crowds gathered on the shores of Lac Léman in their thousands to watch the Grand Prix of France, a historic 275th UIM F1H2O Grand Prix. Those with the nerve and the stomach for it tried the F1H2O two-seater, where they got a first-hand experience of the hair-raising thrill that is F1H2O racing. Let's take a look back at what happened in round 2 at the Grand Prix of London. The first UIM F1H2O Grand Prix in the UK in 33 years drew British crowds in by the thousands as Eric Stark of Maverick F1 Racing outpaced the field in PRM official qualifying to win his second career pole position ahead of Philip Schiapp and defending world champion Alex Carella. Stark led from the rolling start, holding off the two multiple world champions behind him, lap after lap. Schiapp's teammate Peter Marin had a brilliant start, overtaking Carella and Cantando to move up to third, while round 1 Portimao winner Sean Torrente passed Eric Eden in lap 9 to move up to 6th. But then Torrente took out two buoys, which got him disqualified as the race went under a yellow flag. Both Cantando and Anderson were out of the race, and then Carella barrel rolled, bringing on a second yellow flag. Eric Stark held on to take his second career Grand Prix title, while Philip Schiapp and Peter Marin earned a CTIC F1 Shenzhen, China 2-3 on the podium. There were 9 teams and 19 drivers competing in the Grand Prix of France in Evian. The team in the spotlight was CTIC F1 Shenzhen China team with 3-time consecutive world champion and last year's world runner-up Philip Schiapp, who is currently leading the world standings. But Schiapp has had a dismal record in Evian, unable to finish a race in home waters, and he wants to finally put an end to his misfortune here in his 4th outing.
But now Evian, it's another story, especially for me. In 3 years, I don't arrive to make a 1 Grand Prix in 3 races, and for sure, this year we want to make a full race, and if it's possible, for sure, the podium.
His teammate Peter Marin has had a phenomenal start to the new season, fresh off a podium in London, and French hopes rest on these two CTIC drivers. But the man of the hour is surely Eric Stark. The Swedish driver almost missed the season entirely before getting a last-minute place on Cedric Deguin's French outfit, Maverick F1 Racing Team. Now, after his resounding start-to-finish win, he earns a place on Team Abu Dhabi. It's a veritable dream team led by 10-time world champion Guido Capellini. Stark will race alongside 2 other big names, former world number 2 and multiple Grand Prix winner Tani Al-Kamzi and Sean Torrente of the USA, 3rd in the world standings going into round 3.
It's an honor, it has been a dream for me since I don't know, like 10 years to drive for Abu Dhabi. So it's a really dream come true. Like I need to pinch my arm sometimes to see if I'm not dreaming.
The heat is on now for Team Abu Dhabi's Dubai-based rivals Victory Team and their 4-time and defending world champion Alex Carella and 7-time Grand Prix winner Ahmed Al-Hamali. They are coming off a disappointing couple of rounds so far, but Carella is a 2-time winner at Evian and is always one of the favorites on Lac Le Mans. French team Maverick F1 Racing is led by Cedric Deguine, who will be hoping for some crowd support behind him.
For us, it's an important date, and we have to make a good thing in this race for the future, for take some sponsors with us and come all around the world to be with us.
Racing alongside Deguine will be Norwegian Mette Bjerknes, who made a promising start to her F1 career, completing the Grand Prix of London in her maiden race. Lac Le Mans is a notoriously tough course with unpredictable winds and big rollers, making it very difficult to find the right setup and negotiate shifting conditions over a 42-lap race.
The race course is shape of the race course is very nice, but what is making demanding is the condition of the lake. Previous years we had some issues with the conditions, sometimes of rough, sometimes not so rough, wind not so windy, but it has been very challenging. And of course during the race then the pleasure boats, how they behave in the lake, it's the huge lake, so the waves keep coming in the race course, so you never know.
BRM official qualifying would be spread out over 3 sessions, the field reduced to 12 in Q1, then down to 6 in Q2. In Q3, those 6 boats would have a course to themselves with 2 laps each to lay down the fastest time in a bid for pole position. The conditions were varied in Q1 with a big spread in times. Maverick F1 Racing Cedric Deguine and Mette Bjerknes were both around 5 seconds off the pace, while Sami Celio was also struggling, still plagued with engine issues. Alex Carella and Jonas Anderson set down some good lap times and were confident enough to head back to the pontoon to wait it out. But there was big drama in the last minutes as Peter Marin shot to the top of Q1 and then Philip Roms broke into the top 12, followed by Marit Stromoy. A shock to Alex Carella and Jonas Anderson, both of whom found themselves unable to make the Q2 cut. Also out in Q1 were Simone Schuft and Duarte Benavente. In Q2, Eric Stark set the pace, leading the field of 12. Cantando also solid in the top 6, but conditions were taking their toll and positions swung wildly with the changing winds and waves. With Carella out, Victory's last hope was Ahmed Al-Hamali, but he struggled and didn't make the cut.
Traffic, I couldn't find a really good space.
Sean Torrente had a good outing and was back to the pontoon early, confident in his lap time. But then, in a replay of Q1, Emirates Racing brought home the goods. Stromoy and Marszalek both laying down excellent times to break the top 6, while Torrente found himself bundled out, not taking heed to what happened to Carella and Anderson in Q1. Also out in Q2 were Eric Eden, Grant Trask, and Philip Roms.
Some of the guys got some of the smooth water early on, and some of us didn't, but you know, that's qualifying. It is what it is. We finished, it didn't crash or get a wet boat, so.
Q3, 6 boats, 2 laps each, a battle for pole position. First out was Thani Al-Khamzi. He was fast, 51.46, excellent time from the Team Abu Dhabi veteran. Francesco Cantando was out next after Al-Khamzi, gunning for provisional pole position, but he was just short, 51.97. Al-Khamzi keeps provisional pole.
It's a nice sensation to be back in top 6 after a while. Today is not easy condition, and I try to do my best. I would have changed prop, but we were not prepared for everything, so it's okay. Follow us. Ciao.
After Cantando, it was Marit Stromoy, but she had trouble out there, well off the mark, 53.36. Philip Schiap had local support behind him, and he used it well, and he read the conditions brilliantly. What a time, 51.18. The Frenchman takes provisional pole position, thumping Al-Khamzi by half a second.
It's a lottery. It's not normal. This condition, you see the 2 first drivers. the water condition is good. And after you see Marit, it completely destroyed me also. Right, but I'm not happy.
Bartek Marszalek had no answer to Shiap scraping through with a 52.77 that got him just ahead of his teammate Stromoy. One man left, Eric Stark. Stark won the last pole position in London. Could he make it 2 in a row? As Shiap waited nervously, Stark went out there full guns blazing. It was an all or nothing performance. Could he do it? He goes flying, but manages to keep the boat on the water in one piece, blazing through to the finish. 51.17. Stark beats Shiap by just 1/100th of a second. Stark has pole position. Behind Stark, Shiap finishes second, Daniel Kamzi third, Cantando with a great result in fourth, followed by Marszalek and Stromoy. Torrente down in seventh, and Alex Carella with a lot of work to do in 13th. Celio also way down in 16th.
It's amazing, but the team is amazing. Everyone works so hard. Like the boat's amazing, the balance is so good. I think that's why I saved that big jump. So like in the end, everything worked today. Okay, it was very, very close, but if I didn't have the jump, I think I was on a really good lap.
With the day's racing, training, preparing, and tuning over, the F1H2O family got to enjoy local hospitality as Evian welcomed drivers, crews, and their families for a 4th consecutive year. The third Grand Prix of the year was underway. 19 drivers and boats lining up on the pontoon. Defending world and 2-time Evian champion Alex Carella starting in 13th position.
Some issue with my radio, and yesterday we go out from the Q2 and okay, it will be a long race. I will push my maximum. I want to finish in the top 6 for sure, so I will give it all.
CTIC's Peter Marin and Philip Shiap looking to keep their excellent teamwork going in home waters.
Strategy is not to pass him, is to push him to catch Eric and make the best result for all the team.
Eric Stark once again will lead the field from pole position with a star-studded lineup to his right on the pontoon. Philip Shiap right beside Stark in P2, then Daniel Kamzi in 3rd position. Torrente will be one to watch on the start. Marin right beside him in P8. And look at those 2 names at the very back, Jonas Anderson and Sami Celio. Expect a lot of action from them.
Starting 7th this time, and that's less positions to make up than most of the time here. I think I've been starting last and second to last the last 2 years for other issues, and we passed a lot of boats, so always on the podium, so hopefully we can do the same.
Circuit is nice, we have sun, nice weather finally, Evian, so let's go.
Conditions were perfect, calm, smooth waters, low winds, thousands watching on from the shores with bated breath for the countdown to the 275th UIM F1H2O Grand Prix. There they go, 19 boats thundering off the starting pontoon and into that starting drag race to the commitment buoy. Poor start from Alex Carella. The world champion has his work cut out for him. And what a start from Daniel Kamzi. He shoots ahead, passing Eric Stark as he hurdles towards that commitment buoy. Further back, Peter Marin going neck and neck with Eric Eden, and Eden pulls ahead of the Frenchman. The Abu Dhabi boats are first to the commitment buoy. Stark's inside lane advantage helps him keep the lead. Shiap struggling to keep up. Further back, Jonas Anderson has already passed both Maverick drivers. The Swede is now pushing on Duarte Benavente in 14th position. Sean Torrente trying to pass as many boats as he can on the start as he takes on Maritz Stromoy. Torrente on the outside trying to find the speed to pass the Norwegian Emirates Racing driver. There is a battle for 4th position as Bartek Marszalek attacks his former teammate Francesco Cantando in the Blaze Performance boat he has himself designed and built. Cantando holds off the Marszalek challenge, stays in 4th. Out in the lead, it's an Abu Dhabi 1-2 leading the race. Stark on the inside, Al-Kamzi on the outside. Stark with the edge, Schiap trying to keep up in third. Erik Eden is on the warpath. He is gunning it out there as he passes Marit Stromoy and then takes on Sean Torrente in sixth. But Marin strikes back, zooming past Stromoy on the outside, then also takes Eden, leaving the Swede in a spray as he reclaims the positions he lost earlier. Back out in the lead, the two Abu Dhabi boats are barely a boat's length apart. Al-Khamzi just behind Stark. Stark goes fast into the turn. Al-Khamzi cuts in right on Stark's tail. Stark holds on to his lead and handles the pressure well from Al-Khamzi. Al-Khamzi showing no mercy to his new teammate Stark. Eric Stark deftly maneuvers to stay ahead. Al-Khamzi keeps up the pressure. Meanwhile, Sean Torrente is gaining on Bartek Marszalek. Torrente cuts in on the inside. Marszalek gives Torrente the gap he was looking for, and that's all she wrote. Torrente overhauls the Polish driver and sets his sights on Cantando. In lap 2, Eric Stark opens his lead over Al-Khamzi. Philip Schiap in third, followed by Cantando. You can see some big rollers from a passing boat heading into that turn. Schiap gets air, goes long, but he keeps it going. Alex Carella in 13th, finally starting to build some momentum as he passes Roms to move up a spot. The going's been tough for Carella so far, but there's still 40 laps in the race, and the world champion knows he has time on his side. Carella in 12th, next sets his sights on Grant Trask of F1 Atlantic team, the Australian driver on the inside, keeping one eye on the hard-charging Italian behind him. Up in third, Philip Schiap in trouble as Cantando passes the Frenchman to move into third. The Schiap misfortune in Evian continues as Schiap pulls into the pontoon and his crew come rushing in for the world standings leader. He's got a broken prop. The CTIC crew fixed the prop and Schiap is back in the race, but he's now dead last and 3 laps behind the lead boats, but at least he's still racing. Back to the action, Jonas Andersson has passed Philip Roms and is now zeroing in on Alex Carella in 12th. A 3-way battle unfolds between Grant Trask, Carella, and Andersson for 11th position. As Andersson builds pace in pursuit, Carella speeds in on the outside to overtake Grant Trask on the turn. Carella beats the Aussie, who now has to worry about Andersson. Andersson finds a gap there on the inside as both Carella and Trask go wide. Can Andersson zip through and beat both in one fell swoop? He does it. Jonas Andersson is up in 10th position, 8 positions up from where he started. The Swede is now at least in the points and looking to continue his upward graph as Carella gives chase. But Andersson is just too fast for Carella. The Swede flies away as the Blue Victory Baba boat tries to keep up. Philip Roms has been pushed back to 13th. He's now attacking Grant Trask on the outside, but he loses control and barrel rolls on lap 8. That's a yellow flag. More bad news for Mad Croc Baba team as Sami Celio is also out of the race under the yellow flag.
Start for the last position, then I didn't have any punch in the engine, then there was a big wave and jumped me, throw me in the yellow buoy, and so I destroyed one turn buoy. Starting driving in that position, knowing that you have one lap more than the others, there was no sense. So first time in my career I decided to come away from the race course by my own willing, so it's big, very sad moment.
The green flag goes back up as the race restarts on lap 11. Stark is just ahead of Al-Khamzi, behind them Cantando, just in front of Torrente, and in 5th is Peter Marin, keeping French hopes alive in Evian. Alex Carella has a brilliant restart as he moves past Marit Stromoy and then goes neck and neck with Jonas Andersson, passing the Swede as well as he then sets his sights on Bartek Marszalek and Ahmed Al-Hamali. But Jonas Andersson is not backing down. He finds the speed on the outside to claw his way back up, passes Stromoy, then takes Carella, and finally overhauls Marszalek, moving up into 8th. Up in the lead, 3 of 4 boats are Abu Dhabi boats. Francesco Cantando, the only obstacle in the way of a potential Team Abu Dhabi 1-2-3. Back in 5th, Peter Marin sees Erik Eden move up on him as the young Swede gets past the Frenchman, who is bumped down to 6th. Behind Peter Marin in 7th is Ahmed Al-Hamli, then Anderson 8th. Another French driver, Cedric Deguine, is in 12th. Grant Trask 13th, his teammate Benavente in 14th, and in last position is Philippe Chiap, 3 laps behind the lead boats. Peter Marin's slide continues as he's first passed by Al-Hamli on lap 14 and then Jonas Anderson. Marin finding himself down in 8th. Alex Carella is locked in a drag race with Bartek Marsalek, the #1 victory boat, right on the Polish driver's tail. Carella hugs that inside line tight, and he gets past Marsalek on lap 15 as he then starts cutting the gap with Peter Marin. The battle for third heats up as Torrente tries to catch Cantando with Eric Eden right behind them, also looking for a way up. Eden looking to sneak through against Torrente, but Torrente shuts him out. Marsalek chases Carella down the long straightaway, and Carella goes over. Lap 24, Carella crashes out as the Osprey rescue team pull up on the scene. There it is on the replay. Carella catches a wave and goes flying, flips in the air. That's a huge crash as Carella injures his leg and is tended to back on shore. Bad luck for the defending champion, the second crash in a row. The race once again under a yellow flag as the field bunches up. And it's back on in lap 31, just 11 laps left in the race. Jonas Anderson puts the pressure on Ahmed Al-Hamli and passes the victory driver on his outside as he then finds himself behind Team Sweden teammate Eric Eden. No change with the 2 lead boats. Stark on his guard has a good restart and holds Al-Kamzi off in second. Behind them, Torrente sees his chance to pass Cantando. The 2 do battle. Torrente has the speed. Cantando holds tight on the inside line. But Torrente does it. Torrente has moved past the Italian, and it's now a Team Abu Dhabi triumvirate leading the field. But Cantando has no time to lick his wounds as he has the 2 red Team Sweden boats barreling down behind him. And Eric Eden swoops in on the inside of Cantando. Eden's incredible surge continues. The Team Sweden driver moves up into 4th position. Marit Stromoy in 9th, just ahead of Cedric Deguine of Maverick Racing, who was overtaken by Marsalek briefly before Deguine strikes back and reclaims his top 10 position, staying in the points for Maverick. Lap 34, just 8 laps left in the race. Can Eric Stark hold on to make it 2 Grand Prix titles in a row? Can Abu Dhabi take all 3 podium steps? What a result that would be for Guido Cappellini's outfit. Stark, Al-Kamzi, and Torrente all on track for the podium. Behind them is young Eric Eden, who's been going head-to-head with the top names of F1H2O this year, on track for a 4th place finish. The drama builds behind the Abu Dhabi boats as Peter Marin regains his speed and momentum, first passing Jonas Anderson and then Ahmed Al-Hamli to move up to 6th as he then gives chase to Francesco Cantando in 5th. As the laps wind down, there is no change in positions. The Abu Dhabi juggernaut heads for a complete dominance of this race. This would be an unprecedented event in F1 history. And there it is, Stark wins his 3rd career and 2nd consecutive Grand Prix here in Evian. Dani Al-Kamzi runner-up, and Torrente completing a historic Team Abu Dhabi 1-2-3 shutout on Lac Léman. Stark wins it for his new team on his first race. What a success story for Team Abu Dhabi. Eric Eden completes a brilliant race for a well-deserved 4th place result. Peter Marin ends up 5th for CTIC, and then Al-Hamli and Deguine all getting points in the top 10. Poor Cantando was in 4th and retired on the final lap. Chiap never recovered from the prop change, but at least finished the race in Evian for the first time.
Really one of my best drives ever. It was just a great day. My team kept believing in me. They just kept trying to pick me up.
I'm very happy today. I finished 2nd, almost close to 1st, but I keep save the boat, finish the car 2nd, get some points for next race. Thank you.
That result shoots Team Abu Dhabi 38 points clear atop the world team standings. CTIC up in 2nd, boosted by Marin's 5th place result. Maverick is 3rd and Victory 4th. And that second win in a row for Stark sees the Swede take the lead in the overall championship standings, 2 points clear of his teammate Daniel Kamsi in second. And yet another teammate, Torrente, in third as Abu Dhabi dominates the season. Schiap still in fourth on 27 points, with his teammate Morin just a point behind him in fifth. Defending world champion Carella's woes continue as he drops to eighth.
Thanks to Salem, Guido, Abu Dhabi, believing in me, and I think, to be honest, everyone was run exactly the same boats. So they were on the copy of everyone's propellers, and we had the same engines. So it was a really cool day to be 1, 2, 3.
That brings to a close the Grand Prix of France in Evian as the flag passes to China. See you in Xianyang for round 4 of the 2018 UIM F1H2O World Championship.